Greetings and welcome to an LGR project update video, and this one is going to be all about the Checkmate A1500 Plus Amiga build that I did a while back. And in case you didn't see that or you need a refresher, just real quick, this was a Commodore Amiga 1200 that I assembled in this delightful Checkmate case that was sent over from iMica Limited. And this is a modern case built to house all kinds of different systems, both new and old, and I chose to put an Amiga 1200 in there because it's one of my favorite classic computers, and I had a couple of them for years, but they were in various states of not looking too great, externally or internally, and there were some stability issues with the electronics, and keyboard was nasty, and it just generally needed some work. So I got all these parts together to put inside of this lovely case, and yeah, it's a horizontal desktop case that's beige, nicely constructed. It's got all sorts of modular design features. I see that main video that's all about this if you'd like to know more, but suffice to say I was really happy with the way it turned out overall, but there were a few things that were remaining that I really wanted to address. Mostly little things and add-ons and upgrades, but you know, they all add up. So yeah, we're going to go through each of the things that I've done to it since that original video, and then we're just, I don't know, going to mess around with some programs and games and stuff at the end. But yeah, let's move on to the first thing that I changed, and that was the operating system itself. Now, before this, it was running a version of Classic Workbench, but that was something that was circa 2013, I believe. It was a little bit outdated. I mean, it's an outdated computer anyway, but you know, an outdated upgrade to an old computer, if that makes sense. You know, Amigas, they have this constant wave of new software and hardware being made for it, and I wanted to upgrade Classic Workbench to the newest version, and that's what I did. And this is something that I made happen on WinUAE, the emulator for Amigas that is really the go-to for all kinds of different things that you'd want to do, which is really cool because I could actually just take the compact flash card that I already had in the Amiga 1200 build, and I just inserted it into a card reader on my PC, and then when UAE I was able to mount that as a drive within the emulator and then install everything that way, and then I could just take the compact flash card, stick it back in the Checkmate build, and it was ready to go with this new version of Workbench, or Classic Workbench, with some little tweaks and things to WHD load, and I just wanted a fresh start, you know? But with that out of the way, the next order of business was to get the floppy disk drive taken care of, because if you remember from the last video, I didn't have a floppy drive cable that was long enough, and yeah, these cables are different than what you'd get on a PC. They don't have a twist. I just got an extension really quick and added that to the floppy cable I already had, so it was able to reach the back of the case where it plugs in, and it does plug in underneath where the new power supply went, so that means I had to get the power supply out of there just to be able to plug in the ribbon cable on the motherboard. But, you know, once it's in there, I should never have to take it out again, so it's fine, I guess. However, since I did have the power supply out already, I figured, I may as well just replace these screws, because the ones that came with this Checkmate case I wasn't really happy with. Visually, they were fine, I guess, but they didn't exactly fit the power supply's screw holes. It never really fit, it just kind of sat in there loosely. So I replaced all 4 power supply screws with some more standard ones here, and that's that. You know what, I kind of think that I like the look of these better anyway, come to think of it, so that's good. And after replacing those screws, I figured, why not just replace the screws that hold on the case lid itself? Besides, I much prefer thumb screws, so I got some of these M3 thumb screws here and screwed them in with my thumbs. Or at least one thumb. I mean, it's like a thumb and index finger screw if you really think about it. And I think they look better, and obviously it makes it easier to get the case lid attached and detached, which is preferred. Another thing that I meant to do in the last video, but just kind of forgot about, were these extra openings in the back of the case here. There's a couple spots for fans. I'm not going to install any fans, don't really need them, but there is this other opening right here in the middle, and it actually came with a plate to go in there, and I just completely forgot about installing it. I don't know, I was all excited to use the Amiga, so anyway, got that installed. Looks much better now with the matching beige to go with the case. And then there were the expansion slots, which I don't have any way to install cards in this thing anyway, because it doesn't actually take them on the Amiga 1200. You'd need something like the Zorro 2 riser to use these, or, there's other systems, and not on the A1200 here. I'm not going to be using them, so I just ended up replacing them with some standard PCI card brackets. Yeah, it's a little tidier, I think. Oh, in the bottom right there, the little spot with the electrical tape, that is where the power supply goes into the Amiga motherboard, and there's a wire stringing through there. I still need to get a 3D printed cover for that, or some other option to make that look a little tidier, but haven't gotten that yet, so that's going to stay as it is for now. Now, another thing that I was immediately wanting to change as soon as I implemented it in the last episode was this cable, the USB cable that goes into the keyboard to plug it into the Amiga. Yeah, it was this long, straight USB-B connection, and I didn't like that, so I ended up ordering one of these right-angle connectors, and yeah, it's the same exact kind of cable. It just plugs in much more neatly, kind of flush up against the back of the keyboard, so you can actually push it a little closer to the case and you don't have this obnoxious long bit hanging out the back of the keyboard. Much nicer. Another small thing was the fact that the keyboard didn't have support for the Amiga 1200 LEDs. It has these little openings there where the LEDs would go for an A500, and some folks in the comments were like, why don't you just cover it up with one of those Amiga case badges you got that you didn't use? You know what? That's a good idea. So that's what I did. I got one of these checkered bouncing ball case badges, and I'm just gonna cover it up, man. It fits in with the logo that's already on the front of the Checkmate case, and yeah, looks nice and tidy. Now, unfortunately, I still don't have a good place to mount the USB port that the keyboard actually plugs in around back, because the little cutout that was made for like A500 keyboards and such, it's a little round hole here, and while it would actually fit the USB port itself, the screws don't line up with the holes in the case, so nah, I just rigged something up for now. It's just stuck in place with some adhesive. I'm still trying to think of something else that would make sense, maybe one of those PCI slots. Now, the next order of business was to update the compact flash adapter that I had installed in here, replacing the IDE hard disk. And this was just a little board dangling around on a little cable, and it's fine, but it could be better, especially since I discovered that this exists through Retro Ready 1. This is a compact flash to IDE adapter. It works exactly the same as the other one, except it doesn't require a cable. It's just built all on one board there. A nice little compact angled design. I quite liked it, so I bought it, and well, the fact that it's in this Checkmate case makes it a very tight fit. I mean, it's got the room, but you need to remove the power cables that are in there. Well, actually, you need to remove even more than that, it turns out, because there's just not enough space to slide it over the pins and then down onto them because of this power card adapter on the side here that's made to work with this case and the A1200 and such. It just goes down like a millimeter too low. So I ended up having to unplug that whole assembly there, the cables, the card itself, unscrewed that. And with that out of the way, I mean, the CF to IDE adapter fit in place perfectly. But yeah, just one of those quirks with the case itself that, that's how it is. Of course, since it's underneath that power adapter board, you can't easily remove the CF card anymore, but that's quite all right, because I've got a plan to address this. Alright, so the upgrades are just getting started, with many more contained within this box of goodies that I bought from AmigaStore.eu. I got a whole bunch of different things for different projects, not necessarily just this one, but yeah, we're just going to go over the things that I'm going to be using right here. Starting with this delightful PC Joy to Amiga adapter, which takes 15-pin GamePort joysticks for PCs and converts them to work with the Amiga's controller port, because I wanted to use some of my PC joysticks with some flight games. And on the topic of input devices, another thing that I got from them was this laser upgrade for the Amiga mouse by Deku. And this is an all-new optical assembly and PCB and everything to replace the internals of a standard Amiga tank mouse. And the mouse that I had some problems moving in certain directions. Even when I fully cleaned it out and everything, it was still a little iffy. So it seemed fun. And here's the thing that I'm going to be using to address the whole compact flash card being inaccessible. And that is another compact flash adapter, but this one goes into the side of the A1200 in the PCM-CIA port. And this will act as a secondary hard disk on the Amiga that I can swap in and out as needed whenever I want to transfer files and don't want to worry with disks or anything like that. And it came with a lovely little 4 gig SanDisk CF card, as well as some driver software and such. This should be a lovely addition for convenience sake. And next up was an item I actually bought from somewhere else. This was from Amiga Kit. And this right here is an 8 megabyte memory expansion board for the trapdoor slot. Even though there is no trapdoor on this case, unfortunately. It will still slide in there, but you have to do it from inside. But anyway, this is nice. This is exactly what I was looking for. It's the same basic thing I have in there already, except it also has an FPU installed, the 68882, as well as this neat little A1200 real-time clock daughter board that goes in on the underside of this expansion. Seems like a nice upgrade, at least until I swap it out for an accelerator board or something. And then finally, I got a couple of new ROMs to replace the kickstart on the A1200. And I ended up going with Hyperion's 3.1.4. This came out in 2018 and adds a lot of really cool stuff in terms of greater support for larger hard disk partitions and other software updates that can be taken advantage of in newer versions of Amiga OS software. So I don't really know how much of it I'm going to use, but I figured why not? And then lastly, here's another box of goodies generously donated by an LGR viewer named Michael. And yeah, this is going to be an Indivision Mark II CR scan doubler, something that I was very much hoping to find, but they'd been sold out for a long time, with the Mark III being in the works, and he had one and very nicely sent it over, so thank you so much once again for sending this, as it'll allow me to have the option to use newer displays with the A1200 and not have to rely on the one multi-sync monitor I have. And he also included this brand new in-box Amiga Action Replay Mark III. It is for the A500, which means I won't be able to use it on this machine, but still, thank you so much. Yeah, let's go ahead and get inside the case and start installing the things. Beginning with the ROM upgrade here, and yeah, had the version 3.0 ROM from 1992, and we'll just pull both of those out and insert the new 3.1.4s in their place. Rather confusingly, these ROMs are known as high and low kickstart ROMs, with the high going on the bottom and the low going on top. It's important you don't mix those up. Also important that you get them the right way around and on the right side of the socket. It's actually supposed to have a single row of open-endedness on the left there. Yeah, that's it. ROM upgrade completed. Next up, I'm going to take care of that 8 megabyte expansion card. And that begins, of course, with removing the one that was in there. And it's a card that worked just fine, but it is older and it's larger. It went all the way up against the side of the case pretty much. Whereas this new one from Amiga Kit could not be easier to install. It's a lot smaller and does all the same stuff basically, and yeah, just sticks right in there, looking awesome and petite by comparison. Alright, and then next up is the Indivision AGA Mark II CR, which is going to go on top of the video output chip on the A1200, the Lisa chip right here, in exactly the same way as the USB keyboard adapter board was installed. It just plugs right in on top of that chip, piggybacking on top of all those connections as needed, and yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of getting that installed, just making sure that's nice and snug. And we've got a ribbon cable coming out of that with a DVI port. Yeah, much like the USB port, I don't actually have anywhere really nice to put this yet. So I'm thinking a good option would be to 3D print like a PCI bracket with both a spot for the DVI and USB port right side by side there. That'd be great. I don't know how to do that. I've never designed any 3D printed parts, but it's something I'd like to try out at some point in the future. And there we go. In terms of internal upgrades, this is it. It's not very pretty. You got wires and ribbon cables and adapters and converters and boards and expansions all over the daggone place, but that is what you get. I'm psyched to use it. And in order to use it, we will need the mouse, and that brings us to our mouse laser PCB that we're going to be putting in here, which just involves taking out the 2 screws on the bottom of the Commodore Amiga mouse. And of course, taking out this little slot here with the ball inside, because we're going to be replacing all of these internals. It does come with a little instruction booklet as well, but it is incredibly straightforward. You can pretty much just figure it out by looking at it. All you gotta do is unplug this cable right here and unscrew the PCB from the inside of the mouse case, pull that out of there, and then remove the ground cable from the old PCB because we will not be using that with the new one. And then there's this little plastic thingy for the optics. It goes above that part on the laser board here. And a 3D printed adapter for the bottom of the mouse. And unfortunately, it's in kind of this baby blue color. I'm not really sure why it isn't more beigey or something, or even just black. I would have preferred that, but it's fine, I guess. You're not going to be seeing it much. And with that in place, the PCB goes right in where the old one did, and it also came with these two little offsets, also 3D printed, that go where the screws are, just so it can make sure that they're in place as they should be. And then you plug in the cable right in the same spot that it was before, and I'm using some electrical tape to get the ground wire out of the way. Again, we're not using that here. And then it clips back into place, everything screws back together as before, and that's it. The Amiga itself shouldn't know the difference at all, it's just now we have a laser assembly instead of a ball. And the new micro switches for the mouse buttons underneath are quite clicky and satisfying, I'm happy to say. The one thing that's not as satisfying is the overall weight of the mouse with that rubber-coated steel ball nut in there. Yeah, that and the PCB assembly with its extra plastics and such really gave it some heft, so it's a lot lighter mouse. You might not like that if you're super used to the original Amiga mouse's weight. I don't really care too much, but I don't know, I might add some weights in there later because it does feel kind of weird being so light in the hands. And lastly, is getting that PCMCIA card adapter installed, and that's over here on the left-hand side of the case. And this could not be simpler. I mean, it's just plugging it in, that's all you gotta do. At least with the hardware side of things, the rest is gonna be handled by the software. And yeah, it does stick out of the side here, just kind of unprotected and hovering off the desktop a little bit, but it's how it is on the A1200. And I guess we're pretty much ready to go in terms of trying all this stuff out. But before we do that, I did want to mention really quickly that I have tracked down one of these slim CD drives, or really it's a DVD-RW, I think. The Checkmate case comes with a mount and a special faceplate on front that you can use this with the Amiga, but it is a SATA device, and this is IDE, so I need to get some sort of SATA to IDE adapter, and I just haven't picked that up yet. Plus, would you even bother putting an optical drive considering I've got multiple compact flash solutions? I don't know. It would be kind of cool to have, but I don't think I'd ever use it. So anyway, let me know your opinion. That being said though, it's finally time. We're gonna power this thing on and mess around with some Amiga games and software. Okay, so hopefully we should have everything set up and ready to go here, I hope. I'll go ahead and get this wonderful ViewSonic OptiQuest Q71 CRT going here. This is a monitor that I had on hand and wanted to try out with the Indovision AGA Mark II, because before this, it wouldn't work because it doesn't support 15 kilohertz horizontal refresh like my multi-sync monitor does. And as much as I like that monitor, I wanted to use other ones too, just to have the option. And of course, being able to capture would be great. Well, whatever, let's get this turned on and see if it does what it should. Yay! That's a good sign. So an individual computer's logo there. Ooh. System request, insert a volume containing libs icon library. Well, this could be a result of the ROM that we put in here, because yeah, this version of Workbench that I had installed, Classic Workbench, wasn't set up with this ROM. Let me see, it came with some disks as well. Maybe we'll just be able to like either fully do a new install of Amiga OS 3.1.4, or maybe it'll just be able to get the file out there it needs. Let's try this one. Okay. It's reading. That's something. Yay, look. Dude, that's awesome. By the way, this mouse is totally working. Just realized, oh, I didn't even think about it. Yeah, the mouse is working. That's good. Let's see here. What am I trying to do? I want to run Dopus. So we'll see if those files are on there that it's looking for on startup. This is what we're looking for, or that's what the OS was looking for. I think that's it. Let's see here. No, not that one. There we go. So we've got it over here as well, but I think it's just looking for a different one. Yeah. All right. I'm not going to replace these others. Let us see what that did. Got a workbench screen. Looks like it's... Huh. All right. Well, that worked. Sure. It's working for now. I got the fast RAM going there. It's almost 6 megs free. Real-time clock. Doesn't know what kind of Amiga it is, I guess. I don't know. Maybe because of the combination of like classic Workbench and the ROM, or who knows. Yeah, 68020. It's got the FPU detected as well. I mean, it's looking, yeah, cool. I mean, I guess it's working. Good times. Let me try to run a game. How about... It doesn't really matter, does it? Let's go with Jetstrike. Although, I should probably plug in like a controller. And speakers don't have that plugged in, so let me plug in some other things and regroup here. Then we'll get the PCMCIA installed, hopefully. Let's see if this reads. I haven't actually done that before at all, so... well, that's a good sign. Yeah. Let me get some things plugged in and we'll do this. Yay, sound. All right, so that's going. And for the joystick, I've got the wonderful Thrustmaster Flight Control System Mark II FCS. This is a PC joystick plugged into that 15-pin game port to Amiga adapters because I want to give it a shot. But anyway, we're going to do that in a minute because right now I want to see if I can get this working. This is the PCMCIA card drivers, I believe, and whatever else it needs. Okay, CFO, interesting. Now located in that. Executed a system startup? Is that it? Let's restart it, I guess. And I got the compact flash card inserted. So we'll see if it knows what to do with that. Because I think it came pre-formatted, like as a blank fat partition. Ooh, it didn't. Well, it's trying to load from it. That's annoying. But I don't want it to load from it. Let's insert the card. Oh, I didn't like that. Didn't like that at all. Well, how does this work? Man, I don't know what all this does. Well, this has been an educational afternoon. I don't know how many hours it's been. It's been a while, so I've been messing around and educating myself on how in the world this should work. And I was doing it right. You just install this and it puts the things in there. You're supposed to just be able to plug this in and the compact flash card will pop up. But anytime that I do that, it freezes the system. And yeah, I tried different compact flash cards, tried different formats, tried different sizes, partitions, file systems, whatever. None of it was making any difference. And so I'm not entirely sure why, other than the fact that I'm running Classic Workbench here, and it does not seem to like that whatsoever. And the reason I know that is because I actually went through and did a fresh install of Amiga OS 3.1.4, because I was thinking, oh, you know, maybe it was the ROMs that I put on here, the Kickstart ROMs that I upgraded to. Maybe they're just not compatible with this combination of things. Well, it kind of looked like that because once I got Amiga OS installed, it was fine. It read the compact flash card perfectly, first time, doing the exact same thing I was doing before. So I'm like, okay. So my next thought went to those Kickstart ROMs that I installed, and so I took the new ones out and put the old ones back in, and then reinstalled, or really went back to a stock installation of Classic Workbench I had on another compact flash card, started it up, and same thing. It still just dies. It kills the system, reboots it with a software failure error. I'm just gonna say that this, or this, and whatever combination I have going on here with Classic Workbench just doesn't work. So forget that. I'll get this working in another way with another operating system. Probably not this, I just don't like how basic it is. I'm probably gonna go with something like Best Workbench or Best WB. But for now, back to some games. We're gonna try out that Thrustmaster flight control stick, and I'm gonna load up Gunship 2000 here, because this is a game that supports analog joysticks, and yeah, that was really one of the biggest reasons I wanted to get that adapter, is because this way I can use analog sticks instead of relying on like digital or mouse or keyboard or anything else. It's just nice to have with flight games. Analog control, you can't really beat it. And I have no analog sticks for an Amiga, so yeah. Hopefully I can use my PC sticks. Them graphics. So impressive. Okay, so... let's just go ahead and take off. Oh no. Does this not work either? Well... I'm just striking out with these Amiga add-ons today, man. Oh, this is ridiculous.
Target front.
Yeah, I mean, the keyboard works.
Target front.
We... Hey, Future LGR here, and this is the next morning as I'm recording this because, yeah, it took a little messing around and looking up stuff, but I was able to get it to work. I tried a couple of different joysticks at first just to make sure the one I was using wasn't the problem, and it wasn't. I'm pretty sure any of these joysticks would work with this adapter as long as the software is cooperating. But Gunship 2000, I was like 99.9% sure worked with analog controls. And turns out it does. I just wasn't setting it correctly, and thanks to ancient forum postings, I was able to figure out some information that I wasn't seeing in the manual that I had, and you have to pause the game and then press C to go into the options, and there you go. You can change from a digital joystick or gamepad to an analog joystick. And it works perfectly fine with this adapter, and I could finally take advantage of that instead of having to rely on the mouse or digital controls for flight games that take advantage of analog sticks. And yeah, there aren't a ton of them, and even fewer driving games that take advantage of analog sticks on the Amiga, but I'm just glad that I have the option. So yeah, that's that. Well, I suppose there's not a whole lot else to do here that I was really wanting to show, because some of the main things I was wanting to show don't do anything. But yeah, I mean, you know, the Indivision AGA Mark II is working great. Can run all the different modes and such for the Amiga, and it's displaying them wonderfully. It's scaling to 800 by 600, or, you know, adapting it to that for VGA 60 Hertz by default. You can change that if you want, but I mean, this is working for me, so hopefully it'll do nicely with my capture cards and such. And see what else. I actually did want to change one thing because it's had this default background for a while. I was messing around with making my own the other day. Made my new LGR logo. Look at that. Oh, that looks awesome. Nice and dithered. Anyway, yeah, well, let's go out on a high note. Let me actually play us a game of something fun. I've got a good number of the games from my collection scattered throughout here in WHD load. And a test drive too with the data discs. I enjoy that. And I'm gonna use this Mega Drive controller, Mega PC controller, and I know this adapter works. Love WHD load. I mean, I enjoy swapping a floppy as much as the next guy, but this is so much more convenient. Compact flash cards, it'd be even more convenient if my stupid adapter worked. We'll fix that sometime later. Maybe not a video, but I'm definitely fixing it for myself because it's too much of a awesome convenience not to have. I just hate having to open up the case every time I want to do something with a compact flash card, you know? Having it on the side is so much more convenient. Yeah. Such gratuitous animations. Yeah, give me that Testarossa. Yeah, Sunglasses Man, let us test a drive. I'm always impressed with this. Anytime I go back and play it, it's it's really cool. Oh. And DOS version's cool as well in its own way. But this right here, you know, you can really see those Need for Speedy type of routes and stuff going on. Suck it, cops. Well, they weren't going to go after me anyway, but still. Yeah. Exciting times. Just driving like a madman through the desert. I could use that right about now, like in real life. My goodness. It's been a long day of troubleshooting and not really getting precisely what I was hoping for out of this today, but that's all right. Hopefully you've still enjoyed seeing this come together. Such as it is. Oh, did I stop in time? I'm out of gas. I missed the gas station. Oh no, I suck even worse. All right. You beat the fastest time. Well, yeah, because I missed the gas station. Okay. But yeah, anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. The Amiga 1200 build here is continuing to entertain the crap out of me, and I'm glad that I can, you know, hook up some other displays to it and have a reliable real-time clock and other things. I kind of even forgot what else I did to it now, because the things that I didn't quite get done to it how I was hoping are standing out so much in my mind right now that it is hard to even focus. Judge Crash Fire! Whatever, man. If you did enjoy this, then do check out some of my other videos on other things, including, of course, the original build of this Checkmate A1200, or any of the other things that show up on this channel every week here on LGR. And as always, thank you very much for watching.